Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So really exciting day for us. New products through the door is always a good day at TXG.
Yep.
This is an especially exciting one though. We get iron heads, driver heads through all the time. You know, even the driver shafts change quite often. If we look at the iron shaft market, Matty, we don't see an awful lot of change year to year in that.
So the product cycles are just longer, basically?
They are definitely longer. I mean, look at Dynamic Gold. It's a 25-year-old or even slightly older shaft. Project X has been around for a while. C-Taper. I mean, our newest iron shafts in the wall are most likely the Oban shafts made by Shimada. The I-Steel this year by Acra, just been added to the line. But this to me is a little bit different because it is a addition to one of the most popular lines in golf, the Project X line.
Yeah, very true.
And something that will add a different dimension to their lineup. So, you know, according to True Temper, this is a step beyond anything they've ever done before. You use the X7s. Up until now, that's probably been considered the stiffest, you know, most stable shaft on in the marketplace. And this is designed to even play you know, stiffer or launch it lower and spin it less than even that.
So a lot of fascination, I think, with low spin iron shafts. And a lot of the time we see that, I guess the design is not extreme enough to actually do it. Sometimes. So I'd be curious if they've actually gone so far that you can really start to see big jumps in spin rates.
Correct. And the way you do things like that, Matty, is you tear up the design book and you start again. That's how I mean, you don't add on to what you already had, because you'll get close to what you already had. You'll start again, and that's exactly what they've done. So they've left alone the lighter weights and the softer flexes. No 5.0s, no 5.5s.
Okay, so starts at 6?
Starts at 6.0, 120 grams, 6.5, 125, 7.0, which is what we're going to test at 130, right? So definitely aimed at the stronger player. Not even so much the fast player, but more specifically the heavy loader.
Quick transition, someone who really bends the shaft at the top of the swing.
The player who is doing everything they can to shave off that excess spin that they have. You know, they're always gravitating towards the low spin golf balls out there, the AVX, the TP5s of the world. You know, they're using the stronger lofted modern irons. We've seen that from some of the, you know, the Strix and stuff, the 785, the T100S line, that type of thing. So this is for that guy who balloons it a little bit.
Absolutely. So if you were to kind of give someone the Coles Notes, you know, we picture a Project X standard shaft. It's a non-taper shaft, so no steps. No steps,
stepless shaft,
Like, what is the construction difference between this LS version and that?
So Project X is what we call a constant taper, right? So from the top down to the bottom, progresses at the same rate the whole way down.
So you kind of picture it like a giant kind of narrow triangle. It's sort of widest here, most narrow down here, and it just tapers up.
Exactly that, right? So what you get with that is you get a set of shafts that perform very similar. But we have a 4-iron and we have a pitching wedge, and we are asking them to do different things. We don't necessarily swing them the same. We don't necessarily launch them the same. You know, we see when we're doing our gapping sessions, players will actually deliver the club quite differently with a 4-iron and a wedge based on the requirement of the shot, right? So this is much more about that progression relative to what you want that club to do. And we're seeing that with irons now in head design, CG locations, sole width, sole design, all that sort of stuff. It's designed to perform as you want that club to be, just that club, right? So rather than having a set of 7 irons, you have 7 unique individual irons.
That are variations on the sort of overarching design.
Exactly. And this is the same with that shaft. So each one of these shafts has its own unique design. So rather than us thinking about it like, you know, there are 9 shafts in the 6.0s, there's 9 shafts in the 6.5s, and there's 9 shafts in the 7.0s. Right? And people would go, well, that's a set of 9, that's a set of 9, that's a set of 9. It's not that. It is 27 unique designs within this family of the Project X LS. Right. So the way they've done that is they've changed the geometry of the shaft. They've changed the construction from a material standpoint. They've changed it from a taper rate standpoint. So they have a wider outside diameter. We've talked about that in the channel a lot, Matty. the thinner sort of part, the tip section, is the most flexible part. That's why when we talk about tipping, if you want to tip a shaft, you're trying to make it stiffer because you're trying to remove the flexible part and leave the stiffer part, right? So these shafts have a unique design within them. Each individual has the amount of sort of taper reduction specific to that iron.
So for simplicity, would there be less taper reduction for the wedge and more taper for the long irons? Yeah,
you would imagine the way that they've been designed is that there's more of that flexible, narrow section in the longer irons.
Right.
That kind of flighted idea. And less of it in the wedges to flight those ones down a little bit and flight, and that would be just the natural sort of progression that we would expect to see.
And so if someone's wondering how the shaft can reduce spin, it's essentially less flexible, I guess less flexible in general, makes dynamic loft reduced.
Well, that's what it comes down to, right?
It should come down to?
We always default to what has it changed in the dynamic delivery, right? We know shafts aren't magical. Right. You can't deliver it the same and expect a different result. Yeah. We're governed by physics. So the amount of loft we deliver, the angle of attack that we deliver, the amount of friction we have, the amount of speed we have, all those things are really dictating what that launch spin sort of relationship is going to be. So this is going to be really interesting for us to take this shaft, the new LS, the old Project X70, and compare the two for you.
Absolutely, because that was kind of the go-to to knock the ball flight down, and it seems like this will be a little bit more extreme.
Exactly. Okay. So why don't we get a few little
6 irons in.
Testers with this guy, and then we'll throw in the original as well. That was nice, Matty boy.
That's nice.
That's a lovely swing.
I mean, that swing was low spin.
Well, I mean, it's flown a little further than we'd expect. So, 4700 off of a great strike.
Huh.
Okay.
That's interesting enough.
How was that one?
It was not struck as well.
Yeah, but you got most of the result out of it, didn't you?
I don't think the numbers will be all that different, to be honest. It's pretty close.
No, you're spot on. That sounded a bit better.
It's more like the first one. Oy, they have a knuckly look to them, say that much. Strikes are fine.
So we're using the Miura 801, something obviously Miura lofts are fairly, very traditional. This is at 31 degrees, so by no means is it a stronger lofted iron.
It's the weakest of lofts that
it's the weakest of the ones really, and that's why we picked it, because
it's perfect.
In order to extract whether the shaft was able to make a difference.
Well, we'll know it's the shaft because, again, like they're weaker than mine. I spun my own iron more with a different shaft in it, so we should be able to isolate. Okay, a couple more.
It's nice. Well, dispersion-wise, it's excellent. So not just talking, there's vertical and there's horizontal dispersion, right? So
very true.
When we're looking at the trajectories, Matty, we're trying to tie these together as much as we possibly can, while tying these together as much as we possibly can. I wish Foresight would do a circle here, wherever the average apex is and wherever the average bend
That's a good point,
right? And then you could start to see how big your dispersion is, because this is the result, fine, but I want to know where the shot bends.
That's a good point, but I see what you're saying. They're very on top of each other. I noticed the strike pattern to be very clustered, which I think is generally something that we see with stiffer stuff.
Yeah.
More consistent stuff.
The club is 2 degrees flat and it's still coming in a little bit toe up, which is interesting. So I'll be curious as we try the other shaft whether that stays the same or maybe you're getting a little bit less downward deflection.
Pretty good.
Better. Before we get into the numbers, let's talk about the feels.
Yes. Pretty on the extreme side in the LS. Going back to the 7.0 regular just doesn't feel like that stiff of an iron shaft by comparison.
Yeah.
So if somebody's looking for the most kind of stable, substantial feeling, that thing is pretty legit.
Honestly, these look very similar. That looks identical to the LS Flight.
Yeah, I think it is.
134, 15 longe, 49, yep. 136.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like Shaft X.
I feel good.
Just, well, everything's probably easier to swing than those two.
We do like Shaft X. Go in.
Oh, in Shaft X. Oh. You may ring me up for a set of Shaft X. Bloop. Oh, okay.
Modus 130.
So you stayed weight. You went by weight. Keep the weight.
Correct. I didn't want to throw your timing by giving you something at a different weight, but obviously go with a different profile in that much more tip soft. So if we were going to try to see some difference, and we actually did, we saw the launch angle come up a little bit.
It was a different looking ball, no doubt.
Yeah, and progressively dynamic loft increased as we went up.
Okay, which is basically, if you want to know where spin comes from, it's that, essentially.
That's what we have to manipulate in order to make that change. Now, I think this is interesting in a bunch of different ways. It probably vindicates our theory and sort of our advice to people all the time, like, don't always look to the shaft to try and increase launch and spin an awful lot. Yeah. We're looking at opposite ends of the spectrum here with the Project X LS and this one. I said though at the top of the episode, you're probably not the ideal guy in order to try. You're not struggling with excess spin.
No.
I want to get my hands on someone who's struggling with it, then get to work with them.
I said to you when those numbers came up, I shaved, 200 RPMs from last time, or the previous Project X?
Yeah.
So if I shaved 200 RPMs as a low spin person, you would extrapolate that to be more for a high spin guy. So a guy who spins at 7,000, maybe he'll shave 400 RPMs, which is, for an iron shaft, I mean, it's about as much as we see.
I mean, Apex is the highest with mode. I mean, everything that's happening, we would expect to happen, or we would hope it would happen the way that it did.
Yep.
It's just, obviously not a super extreme example. I just don't want people to kind of almost get their hopes up that this is the savior of their iron game, and it's going to all of a sudden slash 1,000 spin off.
Well, it's like you say, it's a nice incremental thing you can add to the mixture of other stuff.
It's a great way to kind of put it. It's one of the components we can put into make a compounded influence or impact on your ball flight. So we might go ball, we might go shaft, we might use loft, we might use CG location. That's how we get 1,200.
Exactly, those things together.
Pick apart, 200-300 from each one of them. That makes total sense in the whole system that is the golf club. That's where we see the full value of that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely perfect.
And so the reality is, as a fitting tool, this is great, and I'm pretty sure you're about to say that it's going on the wall.
It will be in the wall for sure.
Why wouldn't you? Here's a tool that you can use to get whatever that percentage is. I'm not a mathematician, but it's not nothing. So it's going to be significant for the guy that really needs that.
No question. Absolutely no question at all. Probably the bigger surprise, if we leave the LS to one side, is the spin rate between the Project X 7.0 and the Modus 130.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be the bigger surprise. That launch was a 1 degree variable, but the spin rate was almost identical.
Pretty close, yeah. Similar ball flights too.
And you hit them all great. You actually hit the LS really, really good.
It felt very, it kind of sort of what happened with like Texas rebar, like it was just very consistent feeling. Again, I don't know what it would be like to play with it every day, although we do have a full set of them, so we may find out.
That's the next phase of this for us.
Yeah.
Is to, guys, not only test an individual 6-iron versus 6-iron, because that wouldn't do the shaft justice in that, as we say, they are designed individually. So we're not saying we can test 6-iron versus 6-iron and that represents the set, because it doesn't.
No.
So our job is, big thanks to the guys at True Temper, at True Sports, for sending us those, because we can now build a set.
Yeah.
And we can build actually 2 sets. We can do Project X versus LS, or even your shaft or whatever. And I want to see the graduation of Apex.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you should see the pitching wedge and 9-iron. Those should probably be very significantly different in flight.
Easier to flight. Yeah. So going to be exciting to get outdoors and see a little bit of that.
It's going to be probably one of our first kind of on-course equipment tests.
Yeah.
Upcoming.
Definitely.
Great.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, guys. Probably heard the tone of the voice pitch up a little bit today, just because obviously, we don't get to do this very often. This, as I say, this is a shaft we will expect to have on our wall for 10 years. That's why that's a bit of a landmark moment.
That's totally true. I didn't even think of that, because regular Project X has been there for most of your career.
100%. Yeah. That's exactly it. It's been around for a long, long time. So when we get a chance to see a product like this, it truly means something. And listen to the guys at True Temper and how excited they are to have this in the line, and they feel like they've really created something new and massively beneficial to the industry. That gets us excited as club fitters, because it's more tools in our toolbox to help you guys when you come in needing help with certain problems, obviously in this case launch and spin and a little bit of a floaty, peaky flight.
It's a very common issue, isn't it?
It is,
so common.
Okay, guys, stay tuned for lots more. Only way to stay tuned is to subscribe and make sure you see all the videos that we've got coming up. Lots of outdoor stuff coming up, lots of on-course vlogs. Matt and I have got a great little schedule planned over the next few weeks, so make sure you don't miss out on those, and we'll see you again soon.